Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Star Wars Wednesday from the Toybox edition. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with Star Wars The Black Series Rebels, first release of Kanan Jarrus. Let's get into it! Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers. Let's take a look at the accessories first, and we'll start with the lightsaber blade. And of course, I'm not going to be able to hold on to it with the tweezers. So here we have, it's a nice translucent blue. And because it is an older figure, you'll notice it does have the very small peg on the end of it that ports into the lightsaber hilt, and it's not quite as long as some of the others, and it is a little bit thicker, so that's okay. And it's more mushroom peg shaped than lightsabers normally are, and I think that's due to the fact that his hilt does break into two pieces, and we'll get to that in just a minute as well. And then here we have his blaster pistol, and it looks like it's molded in maybe a very dark gray, and then it has some silver dry brush on it just to give it some of that aged or used feel to it. That's very nice. Reminds me of the gun that Luke stole in Return of the Jedi in Jabba's palace. Now his lightsaber hilt, just like in the show, it does pull apart into two components. And here's the main part of it. And you'll notice it has a rectangular post on it right here. And then here's the other part of the hilt. You'll notice it also has, well, not quite a rectangular, maybe more square post on it. And then it's got a round post here, and then a port on the end here. And we'll get to all that, how all that works, in just a minute. Now let's take a look at the figure himself. And this is the original release of it, so the face paint isn't quite up to modern standards. And it's not bad. It does, the way the face is painted without the printing technology on it, it does give the face, it does lean more towards the animated than the realistic look to the figure, or the aesthetic. So, but overall it's not bad. You can tell that it is Kanan Jarrus. It's got a nice little ponytail in the back. Lots of nice little sculpted details there in the hair, and the newer one I think has a little bit of a wash in there, but the colors here, they look a little muted to me. And again, that may just be because the figure is an older figure. So, right here on his belt, there's a port for a piece of the lightsaber. The other piece goes here in the back. And then, of course, the gun does go in the holster. It's got a nice little tampo here on the armor piece for his arm, and then got some nice paint going on here for the rest of it, and it does match up, and even all that looks like paint. So very nice. Not a lot of paint going on here, some right in here. Let's take a look at his articulation. The ponytail is made out of a bit of soft plastic, so it does move out of the way. So he can look up that far. He can look down that far. He's doesn't really have much chicken neck to speak of. Much waggle either. It's, I don't know what's going on there. It's like the head sits too low on the neck, maybe. Like the ball goes way up into his head. So, but he can do the full exorcist. At this shoulder, he can raise his arm up approximately 90 degrees. At this one, because of this armor piece, and even though it does go over the shoulder, it does get held up here by the collar piece of the armor, so he only gets that much. But both sides do get 360 degrees worth of rotation. Both sides do have single hinged and swivel. Arm swivels around 360 degrees, gives you, we'll say that's 90 degrees. 360 degrees rotation on an in and out hinge at the wrist. And on the other side, it appears to be in and out. Yeah, it's an in and out as well. So there's a cut here where the chest and the torso meet. And there's really not a whole lot of movement there. He can give you that much hula, but you can hear it squeaking. So he can lean a little to either side, just barely. Backwards, not to speak of. Forward, a little better, but not by much. He can give you a full 360 degree rotation there as well. At the hips, he can give you that much of the splits. He can kick forward approximately 90 degrees. Back maybe about a half a step. Cut here at the upper thigh. And does give you a full 360 degree rotation. Double hinged, pinned knee. And gives you that much bend. Then at the ankle, tilts down that far. Tilts up that far. And forward facing pin for rocker. Now, of course, the gun goes right in the holster, and if I don't hit the end of it, it stays in there pretty well due to friction. And as far as the lightsaber's pieces, one piece goes here, and you can do it this way or you can do it the other way, it doesn't matter. I hadn't looked at a picture of this in a while, so I don't know which way he wears it in the show. And then the port on the back, the longer piece goes. That looks weird. It can go that way as well, so it can go a bunch of ways, but that's the way that looks the most natural to me right there. So, and then as far as it being in lightsaber mode, support in the end of it, the other end has a hook, so this piece plugs in there, and then you'll notice there's a port here, and that is where the lightsaber blade plugs in. Now when it is in this mode altogether, even though it's got a hook on it right here, there is no place to hook it. So I'm guessing even when it's full lightsaber on, he maybe keeps it back there. Or at least you can do that. He might not in the show, I don't remember. It's been a little while since I watched it. But in lightsaber mode, he can hold it in his hand. So there we go, my friends. A look at Kanan Jarrus and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have what I like to think of as the main cast of Rebels All Black series. We have Chopper, Ezra Bridger, Sabine Wren, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Hera Syndulla, Kanan Jarrus, Zeb Orrelios, and Ahsoka. For our final set of comparisons here, we have Star Wars The Black Series, Rebels, Kanan Jarrus, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. Our final Black Series comparison, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on Star Wars The Black Series Rebels, Kanan Jarrus, the original release, not the re-release with the repaints and all that, but this is the original release. For final thoughts on him, I have to say, out of the 3 original releases of the Rebels crew that I was able to get my hands on, this is the one that I wish I had upgraded to the more realistic paints the most. I think he does skew a bit more towards the animation than Ahsoka or Hera. And inherently there's nothing bad with that. It just makes him stand out a little bit from the rest of the line. But with that being said, unless they do a major upgrade for Kanan, I'm really not going to upgrade. I would like to see them do a version of him that has the regular head and then the blind head and the helmet that he wore as he appeared later in the series before his untimely departure. Now, the good things about this figure, I mean, he articulates well. The accessories are good. I do like how they made the lightsaber break into 2 parts like it did in the show, so that it didn't look like a lightsaber and he could still carry it with him. And as you see him turning around now, the way that the piece is on his belt, that is how it's designed to fit on there. And I mean, it looks good. He might not, the leg movement might be hampered a little bit with that piece on there, but again, overall, I would have to say the mold on this guy is, it's a good mold. It's just the paint apps aren't up to our modern aesthetics with the line, even though this figure really isn't all that old in reality. Now, in toy time, yeah, he might be a little bit old, long in the tooth. But in real time, he's only a few years old. Maybe 5 at the most. Honestly, I'm not sure. I should have looked up the release date of this figure. But again, as far as for him sitting in my display and taking the spot of Kanan Jarrus, this figure is okay. And would I have liked the one in hindsight's always 2020, and in hindsight, this is the one that I should have upgraded so that he matched a little bit better. Ahsoka and Hera still look okay with the newer versions of the figures, but this one, he just kind of stands out. But maybe that's just me. You can let me know what you think in the comments. Well, that, my friends, does it for the review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews or just help the channel out further, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's our wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.